Hey everybody, Jerome Maldonado. Look, I want to talk to you guys today about distressed assets, with the moratorium expirations happening and everything that's happening nationwide. We're not going to see a huge influx of inventory per lay into the market. But you know what's funny? I was talking to my wife the other day and we were talking about some real estate down in Arizona, Phoenix area, Chandler. And we were looking for some houses, trying to decide if we're going to, because we have so much work going on in Arizona, we have so much work going on here in the New Mexico market. We sat back and we said, you know what, maybe we should put our kids in high school in a school in Chandler, because they have some of the best schooling systems in the Phoenix area. And I said, you know what, let's just buy land, let's build a house. And she goes, you know what, she goes, why don't we just buy something that's in foreclosure? And I said, well, there's not a lot of stuff in foreclosures. And my wife, in all honesty, I have to give her props because she's always the one that finds the foreclosed properties that we've ever bought in the past. And she goes, well, you'll be surprised. She goes, I bet I can find something. And so I always love her confidence because she was groomed and raised really by me since I've been with her since she was 21 years old, and we're both in our 40s. And I'll tell you guys that what's great is that we have options, and now with the moratoriums expirations, even though we're not going to see a ton of inventory come out in the market, we're going to start seeing distressed assets. But the way you find them, I just sent over to a gentleman that works with me in the real estate company that we own, and I shot over to Josh, actually, this house right behind me. And one of the reasons I shot it over to him was primarily because what I noticed is I looked at the driveway, and there's no tire prints that have come in here at all. It's been raining for the last 30 days on and off. In the evenings, it's our monsoon season in the desert, right? So when we get rain in the desert, we get it all at once. We get like 7 inches a year. But when we get rains, we get like 90% of that all in like 2 storms. And so I come in, and where we have this clean washout from all the rains, there's no tire tracks that have come in or out of this driveway. And then I look behind me, and there's a ton of weeds, and there's even weeds coming up through the asphalt. Now, an occupied residence doesn't have weeds coming out through the asphalt because the cars, they take those weeds out. Now, it could be neglected by the owners, but when you don't see tire trails into the properties, it's a very good distinction that there's nobody living or residing in the residence. So you see a house behind me, and it's not the most beautiful home in the world. It's a very simple home, but that doesn't mean that there's not profitability in it. And what's cool is that for some reason, it's not on the market, it's not listed. So what's the story behind it? So we'll look at the property, we'll pull it up on the multiple listings, see what the history is on it. We'll pull up the tax records on it to find out who owns it, get their address, send them some mail. And what's cool is you could use like People Finder and stuff, and we could even go in, populate the address, their name, and probably even find their phone number. And so for a few dollars, pay like $10, $15 or for People Finder, and I'll find out who actually owns this house, call them, and I'll probably have them on the phone this afternoon. And it may be a win, it may not be. But what's cool is some of the best properties that we found are just like this. And so, and this is just a little dibble dabble. You guys know I don't like fix and flips. Hate it. I think it's stupid. I think the thing to do is to buy land, build houses, and then deploy that into long-term holdings, passive residual income, so forth and so on. And so for properties like this one, we'll come in and we'll look at them, and if we can piggyback this with what we already do anyways, we will. So let's say, for example, we don't build and develop in this area anymore, but we work. I have a full-time concrete company, and so we do work in this area still. And I'll tell you that it's right next door to a house, the very first home that I ever built. And so if you guys watched one of the prior videos, you guys saw this house over here as one of the ones that we built before. This house right here is just obviously distressed, and I don't know what's happening with it, but we'll find out. So if you guys line up seeing footage on it, we may buy it, or I may give it off to somebody that works with us in our inner circle or our team to be able to come in and make some profits. Because why not piggyback this? Let's say that you bought vacant land right here, because there's still land for sale. There's still for sale signs on land right next to the house that I built over 20 years ago. And so people sit back and they tell me, I can't find land. And I'm sitting back going, I can't find land? I bought that lot over 20 years ago. I drive up over here, and there's still signs on the side of the road. There's still tons and tons and tons of vacant land all around me, and there's still signs up on the side of the road over here. This lot, 30 grand. You call on these other lots, they're like 70,000 now. That house right there I sold for under $350,000, made over $80,000 on it. And ladies and gentlemen, you buy $70,000 piece of land and you can sell that exact same home today for probably just shy of $500,000. You know, for $475,000, $490,000, you can sell that home and make $110,000 in profit on that exact same home that I built. And so we can come in, use comps in the area, and let's say we can come in and pick this house up distressed for $350,000, and we dump, you know, maybe $30,000-$40,000 into it on top of what we're doing. This is where fix and flips come into play, right? Like, I don't like them because I don't do them. But if I can piggyback this with the same amount of effort, same amount of due diligence, and then just come in and make a profit on it, and let's say I can make another $60,000, $70,000 turning this thing at the exact same time that I buy land and build another house, then a fix and flip is okay. But I look for opportunity, where opportunity, most people doesn't feel exists. It exists. And ladies and gentlemen, with the moratorium expirations coming right now, we're going to start seeing a little bit more of this. You're not going to see an abundance of it, but you're going to see a little bit more of it. The people who pay attention and they exercise things correctly can take advantage of it. But buy land, build houses, and piggyback a fix and flip like this down the road from what you're doing, and you'll continue to compound your assets, your money, and your success.